I want to start this out by saying that from what I've seen on Tales of Arise so far, it's all been good. I'm excited for this game and I want to play it day one when it releases. Hell, I might just get the collector's edition and buy it digitally on Steam so I can play it on my PC. And then I'll just have the collector's edition just sitting there collecting dust, like a whole bunch of collector's editions that I have. That's neither here or there. I like the characters that have been released so far. We got a good amount of gameplay reveal and the combat looks great. Everything seems to be flowing naturally and there are nice dynamic camera angles on special and team attacks. With the move to a new graphics engine, battles have more flair and particle effects to make them feel more alive than ever before. You also have more engaging combo attacks and setups, and as with any other Tales of game, each character has their own unique fighting style and you'll be able to switch to any party member during combat at the push of a button. Environments look more detailed, and this is again thanks to the move to a new graphics engine, and there are more ways to traverse the areas that you're in. Not really a big deal for me unless you're going to do it in a more flashier and stylish way like Persona 5 or Kingdom Hearts, but it's nice to see the Tales of series having more options when it comes to exploration, like being able to swim. I don't see the big deal about that, but hey, it's nice, I guess. This all seems to look like a natural progression for the Tales of series, especially if you're comparing it to Tales of Berseria. Everything seems to look better, feel bigger, and play more smoothly. But I want to touch on those two words a bit, natural progression. Is this the best way for the Tales of series to break the barrier, so to speak, to be the Persona 5 of the series, the game that puts this series into the limelight, to get it some mainstream appeal? Because let's face it, the Tales of series has for a long time been trying to appeal to a broader audience than us longtime fans of the series and RPG gamers in general. We probably could go back as far as Exilio 1 and 2 for some evidence into that, but it mostly starts with Zestiria. Zestiria was a cluster bomb of gameplay experiments to appeal to modern gaming. It had big open fields to appeal to the open world centric space that gaming was obsessed with at the time. However, the big open field was empty and it was just big for the sake of being big, so that it could have some type of illusion of an open world. Battles didn't transition to a separate area ideal for combat, but instead took place right where you were on the map, which sounded good on paper at the time, but after playing the game, field objects got in the way and the camera suffered immensely in closed spaces like dungeons. I remember dreading combat indoors as I was playing Tales of Zestiria. I don't want to take too much time talking about Zesty, but I think most of us know that it has a lot of issues going on with it. Tales of Berseria would release and correct the ship, or mothership so to speak, and virtually correct almost all of Zestiria's wrongdoings. But if you ask me, unfortunately the damage had already been done. I still don't believe to this day a lot of people give Berseria its rightful due or the time of day, thanks to it having to follow a really meh entry. Listen, if you like Tales of Zestiria, don't let me ruin your day. A lot of people come to me saying they don't like Persona 5. I'm cool with it. But since the release of Zestiria and Berseria, this series hasn't really gone anywhere in the eyes of the general gaming public. Its popularity hasn't gone up. It's pretty much remained stagnant for the most part. I don't think many could disagree that the Tales of name hasn't been as strong as it was in the past. And I believe the series and Bandai Namco, they want Tales of to come back to the limelight and be an even more well-known series. In order for it to do that, it probably needs to change things up quite a bit to get some eyes on it. I don't think I was alone when the first trailer of Tales of Arise was shown and we saw some small glimpse of gameplay. It seemed that the series was going to go in a new direction and be something completely different from what we've seen with other past entries. It looked like the battles weren't going to be transitioned to a separate arena, but right on the field. As soon as you saw an enemy, you engage in combat, much like how more maybe Western RPGs or like how the East games do things. It seemed to imply that maybe I was seeing something that just wasn't there. And as I look at Tales of Arise, as I said in the beginning, yeah, the game looks great and I'll be there day one, but this game looks and feels like Berseria. I don't know if I can say feel because I haven't played the game. You know, granted, it's a more up-to-date and better looking, but that's what you come to expect from a next entry to a series at the bare minimum, wouldn't you? And yes, we haven't seen everything on Arise, but its baseline gameplay structure probably isn't going to change all that much from now to final release. I could be wrong, but I highly doubt it. I just don't see how a game like Arise could be the breakout success the series has been trying to capture since Tales of Zestiria, or maybe just appeal to a wider audience, when it just looks like an upgraded version of Berseria, and Berseria wasn't bad, it just didn't move the needle for Tales of popularity at all. Again, for us longtime fans, Tales of Arise is probably going to be great to us and RPG players in general, but will it appeal to anyone else outside of that? Does it need to? Does Bandai Namco care if this game comes out and just does slightly better than Berseria reviews wise and sales wise? I would like to think they want to see a significant jump in those areas. Change isn't always a good thing, and I know personally the game that comes to mind when it comes to change being a bad thing is Valkyria Revolution, but this series needs more than just its longtime fans to stand up and support it. We can't always be afraid to see a longtime series change. And you know, I'm a big advocate of the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but if it's starting to look worn out and rusted, maybe a little, maybe at least a new coat of paint or replacing some parts could be for the best. Tales of Arise just looks to be playing it safe at the end of the day, when the series might need to take a risk. Then again, could the series afford to take a risk and fail? I'm not so sure. And you know, maybe I could be wrong about all this, and maybe Tales of Arise come out and it will still be that breakout success. Maybe it will be the best Tales of game in the series, widely agreed upon. Maybe a lot of people will come to the Tales of series like never before. I would love for that to happen, but for what I've seen, I don't see how this game could appeal to anyone outside of Tales of fans and RPG players in general. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Buff that like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you're new. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.